I didn't see him be
saw who
elite in
be an elite
Miami. I didn't. He was never an elite defender.
Sure
he was never. He was. Tell me
Sure he
when.
was.
Tell me when he was elite.
Are you only
Tell me what
considering
year? If you
down
saw
block?
it, then you can tell us.
Are you only
Multiple
considering
years.
him face down block?
What year? When? Tell me a sequence. Tell me a sequence where he guarded a man straight up. Tell me.
You don't have to guard people straight up to be elite.
Yes,
defense.
you do. Yes, you absolutely do.
Okay.
In order to be an elite defender, you had better be locking somebody up. Who did he lock up?
You
Who did he lock up? Tell me one sequence where it wasn't a help defense.
You can be elite at help side.
That doesn't make you an elite defender. Though.
Defense, Jay.
You're a help defender, then that's what you are. Then you're an elite help defender.
But you could be elite, and that's still a defender.
No, it's not.
That's still a defender. That's still a defender.
Because that means that you're letting multiple defensive assignments go, Jay. So if you're help defending all the time, you're not worried about your own assignment.
So you can't be an elite offensive player unless you score the basketball well.
Huh?
Will Barton was asked recently about the state of the game and what he thought about it, man. And so
come on, man, get it together.
Here's what Will Barton had to say about it.
I want to see the best of the best guard each other at each position, man. And I feel like the way the spacing and the analytics and the switch everything pick and roll league works, it's been eliminated, man.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It takes away. You wonder why viewership is down. That's a part of it. Like I said, that part of competing, and now, like you said, that builds what? Rivalries. You know, that builds that, oh, I got to come back next summer because so-and-so took me out. He locked me down at the end. Or the other guy saying, man, he killed me, man. I got to come back and I got to get this guy this year. He took my championship away from it. Kind of cheapens it because now it's like guys saying, you know, I'm getting 30 a game. I don't have to guard. That's what the guy on my team is for. Like, nah, that's corny, man. That's corny. Once you accepted the star of your team not playing defense, right? I'm pretty sure you've heard. I've heard Coach Jim almost say, almost like it doesn't matter if he plays defense. It's his team. We got to get defense around him.
Crazy,
right?
Yeah.
You see guys. You know, you see superstars now get hit on defense.
Yeah.
Where they won't even blame, you know, that guy for not playing defense. They'll say, you know, he's doing so much, we got to get other guys around them.
That was my beef with the two-way player label. I'm like, you're supposed to play defense, right? Like
it's a two-way sport.
Yeah.
This isn't football, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? Like, you're supposed to play both ends. Like, that's why we got, he's so tired for what he's doing offensively. Well, that's a part of the game, man. Like both sides of the ball. And I don't like that, man. It's like we took away from competing and guys have to go back to saying, taking pride in, you know, I want to guard.
So before we dive into real quick, I just want to ask y'all, what player in the NBA does that sound like?
Luka.
He does so much on offense.
I mean, I think it's multiple people.
It's a bunch.
I mean, you can LeBron. You can keep going.
Yeah,
like,
you can
have to stop.
You can literally pick. But when I heard the soundbite, the first one I thought of was Luka. We got to get people on. We got to get people on with defense around him. You know, he does so much on offense. You know, and then when did this two-way label actually come to form? Right, like Will Barton said,
that started at a Diddy party.
To see who the two-way player was. A two-way player at a Diddy party is insane. A two-way player at a Diddy party is
diabolical work.
Absolutely.
Diabolical work.
Hold on real quick. Before we go on to this topic, let me go ahead and get this super chat up here. It started at a Diddy party. All right. Shout out Full Venom Jacket for the $10 super chat. This is a call out of Young. I saw you in here earlier, so I know you can see this. And the FYF Psycho fans, please defend LeBron's 450th ranked defensive rating and being top 5 in turnovers. Explain how that is winning basketball.
Wait,
well, he's actually greatest of all time in turnovers.
Go.
I will.
450th, and it's only 46 people in the league.
Now,
diabolical.
Is that how math works?
First of all, defensive efficiency ratings are trash. Like that's not even a real stat. No one's playing defense. Like no, for real.
But if nobody's playing defense, that's all the more reason why LeBron James
that's what I'm saying.
Be better at it. No, if nobody's defending, then we should not have Rudy Gobert. Like Rudy Gobert is leading in defense. That's a problem. LeBron shouldn't be dead last. If defensive rating doesn't matter and if nobody's playing defense, he shouldn't be dead last.
Here's the thing. Like Rudy Gobert is a multi-time defensive player of the year. That tells you what's wrong with the state of basketball right there.
LeBron is what's wrong with it. That's what's wrong.
No, he a part of it. He a part of it. Like so this is my whole thing, man. Like people want to blame, like people say all the time that I be capping for LeBron, and I really don't. This man gives you enough goofy shit to talk about, regardless. He's gonna give you enough goofy shit where you don't have to add any goofiness to his legacy. He is GOAT of goofy. You get what I'm saying? So
goofy go.
Yeah, you don't even got to add nothing to it. But what I'm saying is he's not playing defense like at all. But he's nowhere near alone. Nowhere near alone in defense. Like
he's not alone. He drove the culture of not playing it. He drove the culture of it not being okay. When you're the face of the league, which he has self-proclaimed himself to be, you got to be a leader.
Nah,
at what point is he leading the charge? Because
if we're being honest, we've seen him be an elite defensive player. We've seen that.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I did not. I didn't see him be elite in Miami. I didn't. He was never an elite defender.
Sure
he was never. He was. Tell me when. Tell me when he was elite.
Are you only?
Tell me what year. If you saw it, then you can tell us.
Are you only considering him face down?
What year? When? Tell me a sequence. Tell me a sequence where he guarded a man straight up. Tell me.
You don't have to guard people straight up to be elite.
Yes, you do. Yes, you absolutely do.
Okay.
In order to be an elite defender, you had better be locking somebody up. Who did he lock up?
Who
did he lock up? Tell me one sequence where it wasn't a help defense.
You could be elite at help side.
That doesn't make you an elite defender.
Defense, Jay.
You're a help defender, then that's what you are. Then you're an elite help defender.
You could be elite. That's still a defender.
No, it's not.
That's still a defender. That's still a defender.
Because that means that you're letting multiple defensive assignments go, Jay. So if you're help defending all the time, you're not worried about your own assignment.
So you can't be an elite offensive player unless you score the basketball well.
Huh?
Now I'm asking the question. Can you be an elite?
Correct. You cannot be an elite offensive player if you don't score.
Okay. So Jason Kidd was not an elite offensive basketball player.
No. He was elite, but he wasn't elite offensively. He was an elite player. Chris? He was an elite point guard. Point guards are not supposed to be elite at scoring.
Is not
when you're using the word, yes, but you're using the word elite. So like you're talking about elite offensive player, though. You need to be all of those things. You need to be able to assist the ball. You need to be able to play make, but you also need to be able to score. So was he an elite offensive player? Elite? It depends on how we're defining elite. So what's the criteria for elite? Because to me, you have to hit all of those things to be elite. You have to be able to assist. Yes. You cannot leave parts of the game out. So if he didn't score the ball well, then no, he's not elite offensively. Is he great? Is he good? Yes.
Okay, so let me explain. You let me know when you finish. You let me know. Let me know when you finish.
Go ahead, cook.
If you do things offensively, like for instance, if you do everything offensively elite, you're definitely elite offensively. If you do everything, if you do something offensively elite, like it's specialties. You know what I'm saying? An elite 3-point shooter can be considered an elite offensive player.
No, they cannot.
Okay.
No, they cannot. They're an elite 3-point shooter. That's what they are.
But shooting 3-pointers is offense.
That's not the only part of offense. So they're an elite 3-point shooter. Call people what they are. Don't call people what they're not.
Nah, man, you got to put them in a category.
No, yeah, the category is 3-point shooting.
Nah, the
That's
category,
the category.
is offense. The designation is 3-point
the category is 3-point shooting. I'm not going to call somebody elite offensively if they're not hitting all the points.
Hey, Chris.
What's up?
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen some, and I'll change the sport. I'll change the sport to show you something. Just to show you. You have offensive stats and defensive stats. No matter what sport it is. If you do anything elite on either side of that, offensive, defense, you are considered offensively elite. Or
Jay, abort mission. You're already getting killed in the comments. Abort mission.
I don't give a shit about them in the comments.
Abort mission. You can't be elite at one thing and be an elite complete player.
So imagine that. Imagine that. I didn't say you. First of all, to be an elite player, it takes everything.
Right. So if to be an elite player if it takes everything to be an elite player, then why wouldn't it take everything that is included in offense to be an elite offensive player?
Nah, man, listen. If you are an elite passer, if you are elite at passing.
So if you're just an elite passer,
is this an offensive skill or a defensive skill?
It's an offensive skill. So that means that you're an elite offensive player because you're an elite passer? So if you don't score, if you don't I'm confused.
I see what Jay is getting at. I see
I don't.
If you do something, because honestly, right, there are different things that you can do on defense, right? So you can be an elite defender, right, as a center. Because you're an elite defender as a center doesn't mean that you guard the perimeter well, but you're still elite. So there's certain things.
Centers should not be guarding the perimeter, Chris. So you're correct. You can still be an elite center because you're not required to guard the perimeter. That's not your job.
Hold on. But is that not still being a defender? Right? But you're saying that you have to be elite at every time.
I'm sorry, these are wrong analogies. Your analogy is horrible because a center doesn't guard the perimeter. They should not have that job.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's why they would still be an elite.
So if your job is only to pass and you're not required to score, but you're elite at passing, does that still not make you an elite offensive player?
No, it doesn't. That's exactly what you're not an elite offensive player if you are not doing all the things that are included in offense. You cannot do one thing and be elite. You are elite at that one thing. Yes, you're an elite passer.
You can't.
There's a comment right there that is exactly saying exactly what I'm saying.
But Shaq can shoot. He just couldn't shoot from the perimeter. So let's say it right. Yes, he can. Yes, he can shoot. He can't shoot from the perimeter.
He can't shoot from anywhere that's 2 feet away from the basket.
Okay, he's not a shooter. He's not a 3-point shooter. He's not a perimeter shooter. But did he put the ball? No, he's an elite offensive player because he can score. He was an elite scorer.
So you can only be an elite offensive player if you score.
No, you have to be able to score. You have to be able to pass. You have to be able to do all of these things.
So Jason Kidd can score. Rajon Rondo can score. CP3 can score. But they are elite playmakers.
I'm not calling. Yes, they're an elite playmaker. I'm not calling them elite offensively, but I'm going to call them elite at what they do as far as being a point guard. So they're elite point guards. That's the category I'm putting them in.
You just called Shaq elite, and he can only shoot under the basket.
So
he can't play.
So now I'm not calling Shaq an elite scorer though. I'm calling him an elite offensive player.
So Dominique,
he's not an elite scorer because he can't score from multiple places on the floor. So no, he's not an elite scorer, but he's elite offensively. Look at what he was able to do offensively.
There's a disconnect here, Dominique.
The disconnect is you guys not knowing what the definition of elite is.
Oh, I definitely know the definition
of elite. Offense and defense. So that's the disconnect.
I definitely know the definition of offense and defense.
Okay, well then Jason Kidd was elite offensive.
So you have.
Hold on, before you go, Jay. I want you to get in here and give your 2 cents about this right here. Like, which side are you leaning more towards, or are you splitting the baby? How you feel about it?
I ain't splitting no babies. Don't ever say
now. So what you're being charged with to say right now is that LeBron James at some point in his career was an elite defender. And that's what we're talking about. That's the topic, just guys, so that we know. So we're all on the same page. LeBron was an elite defender.
talking about everything that we've been in the
No, the main thing is LeBron is an elite defender.
Wait. I'm emceeing this shit.
Okay, but MC it properly. LeBron was an elite defender.
I had said, weigh in on what we had been talking about, which encompass everything.
What is that?
What
does that tie back to?
I want to hear if LeBron was an elite defender, and I want him to speak on how he feels about what can be called an elite defender or an elite offensive player.
This is what I feel, honestly. I do feel like you can have aspects of elite offensive play and still be like Shaq and Kyle Korver are the two prime examples. What was Kyle Korver elite at?
Shooting.
But nobody ever called him an elite offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
What was Shaq elite at? A couple of different things. Offensively, what was Shaq elite at? He was just dominant, and nobody because he could not be stopped.
He ruled the fucking paint. He ruled the paint.
So it's a double-edged sword. Like I can say Kyle Korver. I saw Kyle Korver hit 6 threes in like 12 seconds when he played in a row. It was unbelievable. I have never even thought to call him an elite offensive player. However, I also saw Shaq not really miss bunnies, but miss a lot of shots outside of that, his area. But I will call him elite. So it's a double-edged story. I guess I am splitting the baby, but I didn't.
You're welcome.
So let me say this.
I can explain it though. I can explain why Shaq is an elite offensive player and Jason.
Dominique, hold on. Let me explain this. Let me explain it to you how my mind works.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Nah, let me explain this because I honestly get what you're saying. I really do. You get what I'm saying? I get what you're saying.
I'm still waiting for you to tell me when LeBron was elite defensively. That's all I want to know. I don't care about all this other stuff that we went down. I'm sorry. Yeah. I want to know when was LeBron an elite defender? Mel just entered. Mel can tell us. Mel will tell us when LeBron was elite.
Before we do that, welcome, Man Down Mel. And since you're here, do me a favor and read that super chat for me.
Sorry, Dom. Usually we're aligned, but I'm with Jay. You're cherry picking if you're only good at some things on D, elite, some on O, not elite. Nah. Yeah, I was listening to it in the car, y'all.
So that's what I'm saying. Hold on, man. So in my mind, there's 3 designations of elite players. You have elite offensive players, elite defensive players, elite all-around players.
Yep.
So in order to be considered an elite offensive player, you have to do something elite offensively. In order to do something elite defensive player, you have to do something elite defensively, i.e., you could be a steal specialist. You could be a shot blocker. You don't have to do all of it to be an elite defender.
Jay, you got to stop.
Yeah, stop right there. Real quick. Shout out Big Al. Always showing us love. Not the first time that we got this type of love from him. $99 cash app, done. You can basically say, he says, stop the cap. LeBron was never elite defensively. LeBron is offensively elite, the barreling down the lane for layups. So shout out
up into Cleveland, up until he went to Cleveland the second time he was elite defensively. From the time he got into the NBA until he went back to Cleveland.
So this is my opinion on LeBron elite. First of all, his opinions all the way around because I'm listening to y'all. Then Dominque was right, and then Jay was wrong, and then all of a sudden y'all try to do an analogy, and then Jay was right and Dominque was wrong. I'm like, man, how y'all right and wrong and both? It's crazy. And then just the whole beginning of the thing, I think LeBron was elite defensively, or he was very fast, right? And off the ball, him playing passing lanes was crazy. Him being a rim protector in rotation was crazy. And just his size and being able to move. I seen him switch on Steph Curry and lock him up in the finals. So he had elite abilities. I would say, I don't know if I want to say elite because I think that word is messing it up because I think the elite defenders was like the Shane Battiers and the Bruce Bowens. And the Tony Allens. Those are the guys would say, hey, go stop him. Mm-hmm. Maybe LeBron's just under elite. He's definitely not that now. But in Cleveland, the first time, and then a little bit in Miami. I think he was just under elite, probably not elite though, but he was a good defender. He was good, right? And he still probably could be good if he wasn't elite. If he wasn't able to just sit there and just do nothing.
Yeah,
but then when Jay used the analogy, is Jason Kidd an elite offensive player? Well, first of all, Jason Kidd can score.
He can get a bucket.
So I wouldn't disqualify him from being an elite player because he couldn't score, because he could. Now, could Jason Kidd shoot when he first came in the league? Probably not. So he probably wasn't an elite offensive player. Then I wouldn't just take his passing. I do agree with Dominque. The purpose of basketball is to score the ball or to stop the other team from scoring. So I think being an offensive elite player, scoring is the key thing you have to have, right? I do think Dominque was right with that. But y'all was right 10 times and wrong 5 times. Y'all was all over the place.
Like Chris said, we split the baby.
Real quick, shout out to Andrew Williams for the $5 super chat. So by J definition, I gotta call Dennis Rodman an elite offensive player just because he was an elite offensive rebounder. Stop.
I ain't mad at that.
Exactly.
I ain't mad at that at all. He was an elite rebounder, which transitions offense and defense. So I would say he was elite all around.
Rebounds win titles.
Yeah, but J Kidd was absolutely a problem on the offensive end.
Yeah,
it's some things that just you so good at that it makes you elite. Just like Shaq, if he's dominating down low, you can give him elite without having everything to his repertoire. And with Jason Kidd, he was so daggone good. Getting downhill, pushing the brakes. But Dominque was right about the defensive end too. You could be by position, like Rudy Gobert. People say he's not a good defender. Yeah, the hell he is. He blocks shots at the rim better than almost anybody in the league, right? But he gets cooked when he switch on screens on the perimeter and try to stop them. Just because you're the defensive player of the year don't mean you're supposed to be able to switch screens and defend point guards, man. I disagree with that, but that's it. That's all.
I also think that Jason Kidd was elite, Jay. You just told me that if he couldn't score, would that make him an elite offensive player? And I was saying no.
Which is why I brought up.
I do believe that he's elite.
Which is why I brought up Rondo, because Rondo was never known as a scorer.
Never an elite scorer.
Never an elite scorer, but he was definitely he could. But that wasn't his thing, right? Jason.
I don't think you need to be elite at scoring though in order to be an elite offensive player. You can't contribute nothing to scoring though and be considered elite offensively, in my opinion.
And again, like I said, you have to divide a skill set to either offense, defense, or all around. And if you're elite at something, then you're in one of those categories, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like because Rondo was such an elite playmaker, I think that makes him an elite offensive player.
And just because, and please understand this.
Really a great scorer.
I think where the disconnect, Dominque, with the word elite is, I think you feel like that I'm saying that if you're elite at something, then you can't be garbage at something else. And I'm not saying that at all.
It's just we're calling LeBron James somebody who hasn't defended in over 10 years an elite defender at some point, and he only had 6, all defensive teams. That's the problem that I have. He's played for 22 years. So when you say that he was an elite defender, that was like when Godzilla was a baby. That's the problem that I'm having with it.
But that's still a point in time.
I just wanted to know when.
Here's my thing.
And I told you before he went back to Cleveland.
Here's my thing, right?
No, you mean before he even went to Miami, because he didn't really defend there.
So here's my thing, right? I think that a lot of people might call LeBron an elite defender back in the day because of all the amazing chase down blocks that he got, right? Blocks is a part of defense, right? You can go back, you can get the block, cool. But I want to implore people to think about this, right? How many of those chase down block means you have to, chase somebody down to get the block. How many of those block opportunities were created because of a turnover by him that he had to go back and get and make up for that turnover, right? So is that still elite if you are creating these opportunities to make these blocks happen?
Sure, because when did we call him an elite ball handler?
Who called him an elite ball handler?
Nobody, exactly. So him turning the ball over to start the defense has no bearing on what he did once the ball was in the opponent's hands. It has no bearing on that. Shoot an elite. So if you're an elite offensive rebounder, but you shoot 13% from the field, it don't matter that you missed the shot that you rebounded. That matters. That doesn't matter at all.
13 is crazy. 13% from the field. Like, what are you doing out there? Anyway, shout out Sports Facts. They said Alvin Robinson, MJ, Scotty, KG, Hakeem, J Kidd, GP, Rodman, and Dave Robinson, the Admiral. I'm guessing this is who he was talking about being elite.
David Robinson is most definitely elite at everything.
No question.
Especially on Pier 7.
He definitely elite on Pier 7.
type shit.
Type shit. All right. We appreciate the super chat. We're going to keep it pushing. We're not going to take any calls on that one. On to the next topic.